What's up, peeps? This is EmRôs signing in. I thought I'd make this quick video. As you see what time it is, I'm supposed to be asleep. Got to get up at 4 o'clock, so I'm going to try to make this as thorough as possible, but not too long. So, cause I'm supposed to be asleep. I took a nap earlier. Anyway, I said I'd make a video to kind of help some people understand what goes on. Like as far as like when I talk about registering the name, and some people don't understand what I mean by that. And as you can see, I have pulled up this Bouvier's Dictionary 1856 version. You can actually find this online and with constitution.com right there at the top right there. If you just type in Bouvier's Law Dictionary, you should find it. And just save it to your home screen, to your cell phone. I'm going to start off with going over person, the term person. It's a lot of us. I'm gonna act as if like I'm gonna pretend as if I have a lot of beginners watching this video because some people need it. Get to go back to the basics so you can clearly understand where I'm coming from and what the words, what the sources I'm showing you are saying. And I'm going to use the make sure this is recording. Okay, just making sure. And I'm going to use Michigan statutes to kind of to show you exactly because they're more thorough when it comes to explaining um, the consequences for not registering the name. Not saying that you can't win a court case if you don't register the name, but like say for instance, if you're dealing with child support or you know um, any court case, they're using all cap names, which are also called persons. Okay, they use those names. They use those, and keep in mind this is a commercial term. They're conducting business in court. And this is why the name in all capitalized letters is, you know, is, let's just move forward. I'll address what I need to address after I read this. Okay, follow along. This word is applied to men, women, and children who are called natural persons. See, notice that there are different types of persons, y'all. Not all persons, when they're talking about persons, they use the word person because they're talking commercial. It's commercial language. It's legalese. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're calling you a corporation. They could be called. They could refer to a natural person, as you see right here. In law, man and person are not exactly synonymous terms. Any human being is a man, whether he be a member of society or not, whatever may be the rank he holds or whatever uh, may be his sex, his age, sex, whatever that's supposed to be. A person is a man considered according to the rank he holds in society, with all the rights to which the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which it imposes. Let me see what some. Let's see. It is also used to denote a corporation. See, uh, which is an artificial person. This is a different. They're saying that there's different types of persons. I'm reading it so you'll see that there are different types of persons um, in the commercial world. When they use the word person, you have to, you know, be able to distinguish what type of person they're talking about. As you see, the first paragraph said a natural person, which they're in the commercial world. They're not going to say man and woman. They're going to say person. So, so you don't automatically just run from the word and say, "Oh, that don't apply to me." You know, you have to understand. You have to know how to use the language, understand the language, comprehend what they're trying to say. Uh, okay. Now, as you see, number two, it says it is also used to denote a corporation, which is an artificial person. That is that would be the all cap name. Okay, your name, your upper lowercase name, your proper name, that would be a natural person. Okay, but it's still a person. Okay, number three, But when the word person is spoken of in legislative acts, natural persons will be intended. See, unless something appears in the context to show that it applies to an artificial person. The natural persons are divided into males or men, see there, and females or women. Men are capable of all kinds of engagements and functions unless by reason applying to particular individuals. Women cannot be appointed to any public office nor perform any civil functions except those which the law specifically declares them capable of exercising. And civil code of Lewis Art 25. Let me see. Let's go a little deeper. See what else he got to say. I want to just help y'all understand the different types of persons. So just because you see the word person, don't run from it. Comprehend it. Don't run. Okay. Number 5. They are also sometimes divided into free persons and slaves. Freemen are those who have preserved their natural liberty. That is to say, who have the right of doing what is not forbidden by the law. A slave is the one who is in power of a master to whom he belongs. Slaves are sometimes ranked not with persons, but things. But sometimes they are considered as persons. For example, a Negro is in contemplation of law a person, so as to be capable of committing a riot or conjunction with white men. Okay, keep in mind, y'all. This is the 1856 version now, so don't y'all get all in your emotions about no racism and all that old stuff. Okay, so we're trying to get the meat and potatoes out of it. Get the meaning of the word person. Okay. Number 6, persons are divided into citizens and aliens when viewed with regard to their political rights. When they are considered in relation to their civil rights, they are living or civilly dead. They are living or civilly dead. Vide civil death, outlaw, and infamous persons. That's interesting. Persons are divided into legitimates and bastards. When when examined into as to their rights by birth. That's interesting too. Let me read that again. Persons are divided into legitimates and bastards when examined as to their rights by birth. I'm gonna look into that one there. I like that. I'm gonna look into that one. Anyway, number 8. When when viewed in their domestic relations, they are divided into parents and children's, husbands and wives, guardians and wards, and masters and servants, sons, as it is understood in law. Okay? Now I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go to Michigan real quick, okay? Okay, here we go. Michigan legislature. You can actually find this if you want to read it at your leisure by just simply going to your Google search and type in Michigan section 445.1 and you can find this, okay? I'm going to read this here because this is where they're telling you about registering a name. Keep in mind, some states call the name an assumed name. Some call it a fictitious name. Some may call it a trade name. And there's another one they may call it let's see, trade name, assumed name, fictitious name. It's another one too. I think of it as I go. I'm not gonna brainstorm too hard. I got to get up in a minute. I'm saying get up like I'm laying down. Anyway, so there's some. Every state has their own procedure as to how, they want you to go about registering the name that you're doing business with. Keep in mind, I told you this is commercial. This is all commercial. It's business. Commercial means business. They're conducting business in the court. So when you go into court, that name that they served you with, they gave it to you. They gave you the document. Of course, they need the man or the woman to operate that name, to navigate in the commercial world using that name. That's why they use a summons, because it's a dead fiction. It's an artificial person. And they gave it to the quote unquote natural person so that you can conduct business with that name. Okay? Now, and so that's what they're doing in court, is they're conducting business. Anything is they're dealing with money, dealing with an exchange, a service for, you know, a fee or whatever, you know, uh, anything dealing with the finances. Okay, it's commercial. Just like your bills, you know, you do with the power company, utility companies, your telephone service. They exchanging, they giving you something, you giving them something. Okay, you're conducting business. That name, you're using that name anyway. You are already conducting business. Okay, okay. So let's start right here with number section one right here. This is Michigan, of course. Now, your state just made you. If you're not in Michigan, you have to look in your own state legislature and see what they say about registering that name. And every procedure is different. Some of them are the same, and some of them not. Okay. I'm just going to use Michigan because they explain thoroughly as to what they want you to do and how they want you to do it. And they're more thorough than some of the other ones I've read. But all of them are clear as to how they want you to register the name. Okay? Now, a person shall not carry on, conduct, or transact business in this state under an assumed name or under a designation, name, or style other than the real name of the person owning. See that? Owning. I'm gonna come back to that part. The person owning, conducting, or transacting that business, unless the person files in duplicate in the office of the clerk of the county or counties in which the person owns, conducts, or transacts, or intend to own, conduct, or transact business, or maintains an office or place of business. A certificate on a form furnished by the county clerk, setting forth the name under which the business owned is or is to be conducted or transacted, and the true or real name of the address. Name and address of the person owning, conducting, or transacting the business. Okay, so off the rip, they letting you know that the form is furnished by the county clerk according to Michigan statutes. And telling so you're gonna get that form from the county clerk of the county where you're at, and they suppose that they have that form for you to fill out. It's a certificate that you're gonna fill out. Okay, and it's telling you what you're gonna have to put in on there. It's telling you you're gonna have the name, put your name, your address, all that good stuff on there, just like it's telling you. At the time of the filing of the certificate, the person shall pay the clerk a fee of $6. Too damn easy. Okay. The certificate shall be executed and duly acknowledged by the person owning, conducting, or intending to conduct the business. Now, number two, the selling of goods by example, or through a travel agent or travel salesperson, or by means or orders forwarded by the purchaser through the mail, shall not be construed for the purpose of this act as conducting or transacting business, so as to require the filing of the certificates. Number three, the county clerk shall certify the duplicate and return it to the applicant. Okay, as used in this act, person means one or more individuals, partnerships, trust. Sorry about that. Told y'all I had to get up. Listen, okay. I ain't starting this video over either, so y'all got to work with this. Okay. Persons mean one or more individuals, partnerships, trusts, fiduciaries, or other entities capable of contracting except corporations and limited partnerships. Okay. So it's telling you what their definition for using the word person in this particular area, how they're defining the term when they use it. Okay. So don't so you're supposed to keep in mind all of this is commercial term. They're not going to address you as a man or woman in their codes. You will not see that. They always use word persons, and that's why they're defining what they mean. And even when they define it, they're going to use commercial language. Okay. B. Address means the residence or the residence or principal business address of the person. Number 5. A charter county with a population of more than 2 million may impose by ordinance a different amount for the filing fee prescribed by Section 1. And a charter county shall not impose a fee which is greater than the cost of the service for which the fee is charged. Okay? Keep in mind, this is Michigan law. We'll go to the next part. I was telling you, you got to file that. This part is going to be talking about. I'm just going to read it. The certificate, when acknowledged and filed as required in Section 1, shall authorize use of the assumed name for 5 years. Okay, so let you know after 5 years you're going to have to renew it. Okay. If before the expiration date a renewal certificate on forms to be provided by the county clerk, got to get it from the county clerk, is filed with the clerk, and a fee of $4 paid, a renewal certificate shall extend the right to use the assumed name for an additional 5 years from the date of expiration of the original certificate, or renewal if it has previously been renewed between the 16th between the 16th and 30th day before the expiration date of the outstanding certificate. The county clerk shall mail the person or persons whose certificate will expire renew certificate for certificate blank forms in duplicate together with the notice on form to be provided by the clerk that the certificate authorizing and to be conducted under the assumed name of expires at 5 p.m. on the day of, well, fill in the blanks, of course, and that failure to file the renewal certificate and the fee and pay the fee of $4 before the expiration date shall on that date constitute abandonment of the assumed name. Okay, you don't want to be dealing with an abandoned name in court. That's how you get railroad. So they're going to create a body attachment and treat you like you are the all caps name because it's not registered. Okay. Now, let me pause real quick because I don't want anybody to think that registering the name is the only way to beat court cases. Okay, because you can beat court cases other ways too. I teach this way because this is how I beat my child support case. You can do it with a power of attorney form. You can use an executive letter. There are a few ways to beat these people, but I'm teaching this way because this is what I know to do. Okay, so don't think I'm acting as if I'm the know all or whatever. I'm not. Okay, so this is just one of many ways, and I'm showing you this because I have not seen it be defeated. Okay, now let's continue. The notice required in the act shall in this act shall be mailed by the county clerk to the last address of the person or persons whose certificate will expire, as stated on the original or renewal certificate. 6 years after an original or renewal certificate has expired, the county clerk may destroy the certificate. Now let's go to the next one. They're going through everything you need to know. Carrying business of assumed name, compliance. Go to the next one. Tell you everything you need to know. All we have to do is take the time to read this stuff, okay? Take the time to read it. Read these statutes. People say that the statutes don't apply to them, but it only applies to the legal fiction. Well, let's show me a legal fiction that can read the statutes, okay, and apply the statutes. Fiction can do no thing. The fiction is for you to use as a tool to navigate in the commercial world, and the statutes are the rules to the game. Okay, so understand that the statutes are the rules to the game. Okay, now let's keep moving. Persons now owning or conducting such business under an assumed name or under such designation referred to in Section 1 shall file such certificate or renewal certificate as herein before prescribed within 90 days after the act shall take effect, and after 30 days notice from the county clerk, and the person hereafter owning, conducting, or transacting business as aforesaid shall before uh, commencing said business file such certificate in the manner herein before prescribed. The several county clerks of this state are hereby authorized to reject any assumed name which is likely to mislead the public, or any assumed name already filed in the county, or is nearly similar thereto as to lead to confusion or deception. That kills that stigma where people thinking that saying the state owns the name. The state does not own nothing. Keep in mind, the state is an all caps name. It's like, take state of Michigan, for instance. State of Michigan is a corporation. It's a person. It's an artificial person. Okay? It's a corporation. A corporation can do nothing. That corporation was created by a man or a woman. It's created by mankind. All corporations are created by mankind. I'm going to say that again. All persons, legal fictions, whatever you want to call them, they are all created by mankind. So legal fictions cannot create legal fictions. People create them. And when they create them, like say if you have a parent company, like um, let's use record labels for a quick example, okay? Um, say you got, if y'all know rap, some of y'all that's familiar with the rap game. Say you got, Aftermath, Dr. Dre's record. Dr. Dre, he signed Eminem. Okay, so Eminem, after he fulfilled his contract with Aftermath Records, he started his own record label, which was Shady Aftermath. Which Shady Aftermath was actually under Aftermath. So Shady Records is really what Shady Records. Shady Records was under was pretty much like is like the Aftermath is the parent company. Shady Records was was created under the Aftermath record, under that label. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that Aftermath created Shady Records. No, both the men created both of them, but they did it under contractual agreement. But the legal fictions themselves did not create nothing. Okay, so all fictions have to be created by mankind. So comprehend that. They only serve you with the all cap name. It's on the paperwork. It's all on your document. They served that to you. They gave that to you to conduct business with. But it's your job to make sure you put yourself in right standing to use that name and conduct business, because you were already conducting business with it anyway before you got served the summons. Your lights are in that name. Your car is in that name. Your house is in that name. Your apartment is in that name. Your insurance are in that name. Cell phone bill, all that is in that name. You already conducting business from the moment you started adulting, as they call it. So you were already conducting business with that name. You just never did it legally, lawfully. You're supposed to register it so that you can So if you ever go to court, you ain't got to worry about getting railroad, and then people understand who they're doing business with. Okay, and I'm gonna do another side note once I'm done reading. Let's move on. Okay, okay. Assume name, change the business location. Okay, whenever an assumed name concern has changed or changes its place of business, it shall be the duty of the person or persons conducting such business to file with the county clerk, with whom the certificate or renewal certificate required under the provisions of Section 1 or 1A of this Act was filed, a certificate stating the change in the business location, which certificate shall be attached by the county clerk to the certificate or renewal certificate filed under the provision of Section 1 or 1A of this Act, and in case the business location is changed to some other county or counties in this state, to file the assumed name certificate or renewal certificate required under the provisions of Section 1 or 1A of this Act with the clerk of such county before doing business in such county. Okay, so they want to know who they're doing business with. You gotta have it all on file. It's like if you go to a mom and pop store, Jack in the Box, Jack in the Box flower shop or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna say Jack in the Box flower shop. And then, I go in there and I get injured some type of way. I didn't fail or whatever. I'm like, okay, who owns this company? I want to sue. I want to file a lawsuit. You don't know the owner of the company. How you gonna file a lawsuit? Cause Jack in the Box, you can't sue a company without getting you a body attachment going on. Who you suing directly? You can sue that company, but you got to find out who the owner is so that they can be held liable. Okay, so you got to find out who you're gonna sue. Okay, so somebody's got to act on behalf of that company. So that's why it's good that. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was getting a car back in February, and they wanted to know about my income, and I was telling them about my business. I have a commercial cleaning business, and I told them the name of the business, and they looked, and I'm here in Georgia. What they did was and it's a LLC. Okay, so LLC is different from an assumed name, but this is just an example. So don't overthink it. Okay, by being an LLC, I had to go to the Secretary of State instead of going to the county. Here in Georgia, that's the requirement for the Georgia statutes. Same thing with Michigan is also, but at the car dealership, what they did was we went to the Secretary of State website, and he typed in the name of the company to see if it was a legit company and who's listed as the owner, and they saw it just as bright as day, so they could see that's my business. So that's the point for registering the name. They want to know who they're doing business with, and that's also your evidence to prove who you are and what your position is in reference to that name. Okay, let me move forward. All right. Assume name discontinuance of operation certificate. Okay, section 2B. Whenever an assumed name concern shall go out of business, it shall be the duty of the person or persons who have conducted such business to file a certificate with the clerk of the county or counties in which such concern transacted business of a discontinuance of the operation of the business in such county or counties, which certificate shall be attached to the county clerk to the certificate or renewal certificate filed under the provisions of Section 1 or 1A of this Act. So they pretty much keeping them in the know of what's going on with your business. Okay, are you doing business? You done doing business in this county? You done? Okay, you continue, you discontinue. You keeping the updated files of that business, of the status of that business. Once you file it, it's gonna have it stated on there, active and in good standing. You know, when you file it, then it's active and it's good standing. You want good standing when you go to court. So that's the purpose for registering that name. You want good standing. Okay. And when I get to the end of it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Upon request, the payment of $2 per copy, the clerk shall supply certified copies of the original or renewal certificate. Okay. Carry on business. Okay. The county clerk shall keep an alphabetical index of all persons filing certificates provided for in this act, and for the indexing and filing of the certificate shall receive a fee of $10. A copy of the certificate duly certified by the county clerk, in whose office the same is filed, shall be presumptive evidence in all courts of law in this state of the facts contained in the certificate. Okay, you want the evidence on the record. Okay, that's 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 key right there. And keep in mind, if it's filed with in the county clerks in the records like that, they normally have it in the records of deeds anyway. So that's actually where they have it filed at anyway. I'll show you mine in a minute. But that's where they file it at. So if you got a certified copy, that's evidence right there. Keep in mind, the courts they're always dealing with presumptions anyway. But when you put presumptive evidence on the record, you're killing them because they have no evidence at all. Okay. Um, let's see. Upon the payment of $10, the payer shall be entitled to two certified copies of the certificate without extra charge, and additional copies at $1 each at the time of the filing the original certificate. If two or more persons file a certificate to carry on a business under an assumed name, the certificate shall be prima facie evidence of the contract of partnership. Okay, every person, who is a non-resident of this state, upon filing a certificate provided for in this act, shall file an irrevocable consent that actions may be commenced against the person in the courts of this state by service of process or pleading authorized by the law of this state in the county clerk in whose office the certificate and consent are filed. For the filing of the consent, the county clerk shall receive a fee of $2. They're telling you everything. They're laying it all out. Keep in mind, they're talking about court the whole time. You're trying to have good standing in court. This is the reason why. This is stuff I wish that somebody had just held my hand and showed me this shit when I was going through that stuff. I wouldn't have had them damn strokes. Anyway, the county clerk shall keep a record of each process and the date and hour of service, notice of service, and a copy of the summons shall immediately enter shall immediately either be served upon the defendant personally by the sheriff or constable of the county in which the defendant resides, or sent by certified mail by the plaintiff or the plaintiff's attorney to the defendant. If a personal service of the notice and a copy of the summons is had and a copy of summons is had upon the defendant, the officer making the service shall so state in an affidavit of service, which shall be filed with the court having jurisdiction of the cause. Or if service is made by certified mail, then the plaintiff or plaintiff's attorney shall make an affidavit showing that service of the notice and summons has been made upon the defendant by the certified mail, and the affiant shall attach to to the affiant. And an affiant shall attach to the affidavit, sorry about that, a true copy of the summons and notice served and returned receipt of the defendant, and shall file the affidavit and attach the papers with the court having jurisdiction of the cause. Oh. The court in which the action is pending may order an extension of time necessary to afford the defendant reasonable opportunity to defend the action. The circuit court of the county in the office of the county clerk, of which the certificate is filed, shall have jurisdiction of an action brought against the non-resident person by this provision shall not be construed as depriving any other court jurisdiction. Okay, they're going all in the deep details on this. I'm gonna let y'all go through all this on your own as well. I'm really just trying to read the whole thing so I can give you the main part. Now this is talking about corporations and limited liability parts right here. So I'm gonna browse through it real quick, so I ain't gonna talk too much in it because that's not what y'all dealing with when you're in courts. If you're dealing with like one-on-one cases where you're dealing with the straw man. Okay, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Section 4. The certificate referred to in Section 1, or any person that is named in a certificate and is not an individual, shall state the nature of the entity, the statutory law, if any, under which it was organized, the place and date of filing with any governmental authority, identifying it, if of any documents prescribing them required to be filed in order to accomplish or complete the organization of the entity, and to entitle it to operate or transact business under the laws of this state, and if organized elsewhere of the state or county where organized, if the person is a fiduciary, the date of the last will and testament or trust agreement, and the court place or date of admission to probate of the will, or the names and addresses of the parties to the trust agreement, and the name and address of each fiduciary, and if the person is a partnership, the name and address of each general partner. This act does not affect or apply to any corporation or limited partnership organized under the laws of this state, or to any corporation or limited partnership organized under the laws of any other state, or lawfully doing business in the state. Okay, I'm gonna try to speed it up now. I'm gonna go back to the hell. I'm right on time. This is it. Here we go. Violation of act, penalty, violation of contracts, effect. Here we go. Part 5, Section 5. This is the main reason why, and I'm just gonna tell you right here why. What's going? Just follow me. Any person or persons owning, carrying on, or conducting or transacting business as aforesaid, who shall fail to comply with the provisions of this act shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine of not less than $25, no more than $100, or by imprisonment in the county jail for a term not exceeding 30 days, or by both such fine and imprisonment in the discretion of the court. And each day any person or persons shall violate any provision of this act shall be deemed a separate offense. See, they could lock you up for not even registering the name. They could do that. They don't tell us that because they rather just drag your ass and just intimidate your ass into a contract that's gonna pay them even better. And then they'll have to spill the beans as to why they're doing what they're doing and ignoring your paperwork if they lock you up or fine you. Then they gotta tell you why they fining you. And then once you once you file it, now you got some standing. They don't want you to have standing, so they don't impose those charges on you. So that's why it's at discretion of the court. Okay, here we go. Provided, however, the fact that the penalty is provided herein and for non-compliance with the provisions of this act shall not be construed to avoid contracts, but any person or person failing to comply, failing to file the certificate required by Section 1 and 1A shall be prohibited from bringing any suit, action, or proceeding in any court, in any of the courts in this state, in relation to any contract or other matter made or done by such a person or persons under an assumed or fictitious name until after full compliance with the provisions of this act. See there? But no person or persons doing business under a fictitious name or as the signee or signees thereof shall maintain or prosecute any action, nor shall any order, judgment, or decree be made in any action heretofore and or hereafter commenced in any court of this state upon or on account of any contract or contracts made or transactions had under such fictitious name after August 14th, 1919, if the conduct of such business under such fictitious name has ceased, or if it is still conducted under such fictitious name, then until after full compliance with the provisions of this act. So it's telling you you won't have no standing to even sue nobody. Now, a lot of people, they tell you don't go to federal court. That's probably why a lot of the federal court cases get thrown out when you try to sue somebody in federal court. If that name ain't registered, you getting the shit thrown out anyway because you don't have standing. They're telling you right here you don't have standing. Say you can't even prosecute it. You can't prosecute. They say you can't prosecute an action and say I want to go deeper into the word maintain. You might want to look that word up. Thereof shall maintain. Say you can't even maintain and see no person or persons doing business under fictitious name or as a signee or signees thereof shall maintain or prosecute any action. See, I tried to do that last year with a petition for a writ of habeas corpus. My son's mom, she didn't even answer it, and the judge still wouldn't put in a judgment. Now I know why. Now I'm have my name registered, but I didn't file it on the record. I didn't file it on the record. I did it for the child support case, but then that's how they stopped it. But I didn't do it for the petition for the writ of habeas corpus case. Hey, my folly. But I got some of that ass this year. But anyway, but now it's telling you right here. It's telling you. Let's see. You can't prosecute an action, nor shall any order, judgment, or decree be made in any action. Say heretofore or hereafter. Commenced in any court of this state. That includes federal court. Upon or on any account of any contract. If you're on child support, it don't matter. You're still in the contract. You register that name. You register that name. You will see a complete turnaround in your court case. I've seen it happen. Okay, so register that name. I've seen people go other routes. I'm not saying that's the only route. But when you register that name, it goes a whole lot smoother. So I do know that for a fact because I've seen it done, and I did it. My storm completely stopped when I registered that name and filed it on the case in my child support case. Okay, I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna show you maintain real quick. I'm gonna pause this real quick and then I gotta get ready for work. Hold on a second. Here's one source right here. The Law Dictionary is Black's Law Dictionary, second edition. To maintain an action or suit is to commence or institute it. I'm gonna look them two words up too, so y'all can see that. It's gonna go deeper. The term imports the existence of a cause of action. Okay, keep in mind, it's talking about commence or to institute it. Okay, keep that in mind. Pause. You got to look these words up. That's how you get clarity. Hold on a second. Okay, commence. To commence a suit is to demand something by an institution of process in a court of justice. You can't demand shit. I've known people to say they want to demand the bonds, to try to get the bonds. I've tried that. Demanding the bonds, you want the oath, you want all these different stuff you want to demand them for, and you wonder why they ignore you. Okay? You can't make no demands. Hold on a second. Let's go with the other word. Institute. I'm looking for that next. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm gonna use this one right here. To inaugurate, originate or establish. In civil law, to direct an individual who was named as an heir in a will to pass over the estate to another designated person known as a substitute. Okay, for example, to institute an action is to commence it by the filing of a complaint. Okay, and they'll let you open up a court case, but they'll still play with it. They'll take your money, but you wonder why you're not able to move to court. Let me see. What does the second part say? Say the person first called the tail's eye. The rest, well, that's Scottish law. We're not worried about Scottish law. I don't think they do Scottish law up in the court. But to institute the name, say to name or to make an heir by testament, to make an accusation, to commence an action. Okay. But anyway, you get the idea, you get the gist of what's going on with that part. Hold on. Okay. But now you see what he's talking about. So basically you don't have any standing if you choose not to want to register the name, and you're trying to go up in there as is with nothing else, no other type of way to separate yourself from that name and keep them from creating a body attachment. Okay, so keep in mind the registration statement when you basically tells you, when you filing that thing, the certificate tells the nature of the business, who's the owner of the business, what your title is in reference to the business. It's the whole layout, and everything you put on that certificate is your proof. It says it in these statutes that it is prima facie evidence of the facts stated on there. As a matter of fact, it said on this here, it's a presumptive evidence. But bottom line is, it's evidence in comparison to their presumption only in the court when they're trying to bring you to court. Legal fictions ain't gonna bring no evidence at all, but a living man can bring evidence. So register the name and get your standing going. That way you can free yourself when you're in court. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get on off here. You see, it's 4:24, and I gotta get my ass to work. I gotta drive 37 miles to work. So, and I gotta get dressed. All right, y'all. EmRôs signing out.